Have you seen them? Have you seen them? Did you read them? Did you read them?
Yeah.
Well, how fantastic that we're going to look at them now. So I just want to show before the other two children come with the pocket rockets. So these are supposedly level 1 emergent guided reading. Level 1. Do you think level 1 is the first level?
These are level 1.
Wow. So how would you work that out if you had never seen it before? Tell me.
That's a dolphin one.
How do you know it's the dolphin one? Where did your eyes look?
There's a dolphin.
Your eyes looked at there, but you know if you looked at here, you know if you couldn't see that and you had to look at that, how would you work it out? Yes, you read them for a minute so you guys can have a look at any of these books. How would you look at them? Look at this book. How would you know what this writing was? Look at this writing. How would you? And if you don't know, you can tell me you don't know. You don't have to guess or anything.
The dolphin.
Oh, the dolphin. Is that what you think it is? The dolphin? Is that what you think the title is? Why do you think the title is the dolphin?
Because I can see a dolphin.
Because you can see a dolphin. That is amazing. So if I had to ask you for these ones, do you know any of these words? You know in? Good. It and yes. And do you know any of the other words?
I can spell them.
The? Fantastic. Any of the other words?
Dolphin.
So we know in and we know the and we know dolphin. Well done. How would you work this out? What's the story? What's the title?
Dolphin.
Oh, look at that. What do you think? Have a look. What do you look
Dolphin.
at if you want to know what the title of the book? What the book's called? What do you do?
Dolphins.
Dolphins. What would you do if you wanted to have a look? Where would you look to see what we need to read?
Oh my God.
You would. Well done. Now, which of those words do you know?
In.
It. Where's his? I can't see it.
And
The. In and the. Do you know any of the other words? No, you had to read this book, which is level 1. Oh, what's he doing? Can you see his bottom? Right, so we've got, what would you do? You know, if you wanted to read this book and you wanted to know the title, that's...
a dolphin.
What would you do?
No dolphin.
A dolphin. And what about on here? Which words do you know?
I'm going to get the rocket.
Pig. You know pig. Let's have a look. How do you know it's
Big.
Amazing. What this book is all about?
Rocky. It's about Rocky.
I can see your eyes. I can see your eyes. What? Your eyes were looking at there that time. So you tell me what you did then to say a man. Wow, that's amazing. Let me find another one. Supposing I had this one and you didn't know it was that. What would you look at here to know what it's called?
The fat cat.
A fat cat. So you can look at the writing and read it. Is that just much more exciting? I think it's much more exciting when you can read it. Let me.
And I like.
This is easy for me. Is that for easy for you? Why is it easy for you?
Because I read it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Making
a dinosaur. You did like that one. So we've got tail, spikes, lead, all blue level sand pics. Oh, look at this. Look at the, and I bet you about anything, the next page is going to be something about look at the. Oh, look at that.
What?
And the other one's going to be look at that. And some reason people think that's how you learn to read, and it isn't.
Look.
I know. Because if I show you look in another context, you're going to have no idea what it is. Right, so we've got, so how would you read this one?
Patch.
Who's this patch? So you were listening to somebody else, is that what you do? So if you had to just look at this, does it look like a bit like gobbledygook? Like a bit like, oh my goodness, I got to read that. Is that what it looks like? Does it look too hard? Looks too hard to me. I don't think someone, even on the blue level. And then I'm going to show you reading them. So on this one, because you can't actually read these, I'm going to decode them for you. So can we have it all sitting on the chair in 1, 2, 3? 1, 2. I love that because you're actually reading it. And this is what we want to see.
You're going to read me?
I am going to, and do you know what I want to see though? I want to see you reading. So just put it down for a second. Put it down for a second, wait. See now he's actually reading. Yeah, no, what did you just say? Can you just tell Mrs. Corey what you just said? Brilliant. You just said I can't read that. And you can't, and that's what we're doing. We're going to give you books you can read because there's no point giving you a book you can't read, is there? What's the fun in that? The fun is this bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you. So let me show you what I'm going to do. You open the book and I want everybody to point. Wait a minute, put your book on there. Do you know, I hate to stop you actually reading because I'm going to, because I've got to show the people. So in the supposed guided readers from PM, the children are looking at the pictures and they're loving the pictures. But you can see with those, they're looking at the pictures and having fun from that. Whereas with the other books that are the SSP coded readers, the children are actually reading them. So I hate the fact that I've had to stop them reading, because I'd much rather them be able to sit there independently and read. And what I'm going to do now is make them all point to the words, which is so boring, but point to the words because I want their eyes to at least look at the words whilst I decode and they can say the words.
That is this.
Shark.
Shark.
Look at it, look at it. Look
Shark.
No, look, there. Shh.
What?
See, it's so outside of their knowledge, their understanding that this is why there's no point. There's not even on. We're looking for shark. So this shark is big. Yes. So I can decode it for them if they've got to work. If you're a parent and this is far too. Yes, octopus is big. This octopus is big.
He had a pocket knife.
It is a stingray. It is a stingray. Is big. This stingray is big. So this activity is of no use to these boys, and this is why we start to have behavioural difficulties. They are bored doing that. They'd much rather look at the pictures, and that's fine, and that's why we have books in the classroom that they can just look through, and we encourage that. But this particular session is supposed to be about me helping them with the guided reading, so helping them to understand what they're reading. They can't read it. It's a complete waste of time if guided reading is your purpose. What I'm doing is brilliant, but your eyes weren't looking at it. So you look at these words now. This stingray is big. I love that your eyes were looking at it then.
This stingray is big.
Fantastic. Okay. Do your duck hands for bird. Love it. So we had 3, didn't we? Do. We had 3, didn't we? How many letters are there in that word bird?
One, two, 3, 4.
There are 4, and we only need 3 sound pics.
And there's 2 and is in there too. The earth can.
So you knew that was bird. So the I and the R is the picture for the
Did you know the earth can make the rider sound?
Can it? That's amazing.
That?
So we've got bird. So if we had to underline the sound pics, we would underline that one, wouldn't we? That's amazing. Let's turn over the page and let's see what's next. Now we'll call this one of our duck. Yes, we'll call these one of our duck level words. So it's here. So it's actually her ear. Her ear is the
wing.
Wing. Well done. Now look, it. There's 3 and there's 4 letters. So it. Where's the Which letters are the Which letters are the
That one. The one in the middle. The N and the G.
Wow, the N and the G. That's right. It's too clever. Here is the wing. Did you see the it? So that's the in it. Turn the page. Now I know we can guess this is here because we've just seen that.
This is the I.
Where's the word?
This is
fabulous. So these are helpful words. These are duck level words. So we can look, but we actually decode these as well. So her ear is the. We do that as well. The. Now this one is I. This needs to go in the I clan. I don't think we've got to do
He's
this.
making the I.
Well, actually, the whole thing. Because look, how many duck hands for I? It's just one. I. Just one. So all of that must be the picture for I, and we need to put it in the clouds because I've realised it's not in there. Next page, quick, because we've got to go. I hope you noticed what she just did. She turned over the page and straight away went, here is, because she's predicting. Because that's how a lot of the PMs, and that's why some children can actually get to, PM level 4, 5, 6 or whatever, because they're making intelligent guesses based on how PM readers are normally written, and they use the picture clues. I just want to explain to you about the readers, and really this is my kit box. It's a tall box, but it's got the things in that I take when I've just got to walk around the school and just grab children and whatever, so I make sure that I've got everything that I need. So here are the sound pics. So in the green level we're looking at, put, it, and words built using those sound pics. That's the green level. We've got the purple level, So that's what we're learning here. D, g, or j, o, k, or s, k, k, e, b. Then we've got the yellow code level, and we've got the blue code level. There is no point learning these in isolation. We need children to understand that, yes, that might be a picture of ow, like out, or ooh, like group, or like touch. So we do this, and we do this through the poster and explicit teaching and the video lessons and whatever. But the reason we're doing this is for reading and writing. The reason we're doing this is so that if they see these in words they're not sure of, they can actually follow the sound, say the word, and work them out, so that they can get onto the heavy stuff, the reading stuff, the stuff that we're really interested in. This is Amy, and she's working at SSP Yellow. That means we're tracking on every single skill and concept required for the reading and spelling brain. If you watch her tackling the BERT reading test at the end, you'll see where she is. She's never seen those words before. And think about her reading brain. When she's reading her reader, her eyes are scanning. They're not quite at that blue level where they're scanning large chunks, getting meaning and keeping going and visualizing and comprehending at high order thinking, but she's getting there, and she'll certainly be there when she's gone through blue.
Miss Emma, I learned something new. The SP makes in raspberry up here.
Wow, Roz! Yeah, have we got SP? Let's go and have a look on the SSP cloud.
Yeah, let's
go. Mrs. Ciceraga, I think we might have found another raspberry. Oh no, that's a that's a Z sound.
I did traditional.
Traditional!
Because it's 5 and 5.
Did you do the shoe with the T? That's brilliant. Oh, good boy. Wow. Right, so we need the Z cloud. Where's the Z cloud?
It must be Z.
It must be. Z. Where's the Z?
It could be.
I think it's in yellow.
Me too. Because I'm yellow level. It's down there.
It is. So let's have a look if it's in there. It's not in there. Amy, you found it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What's the next one?
D-E-S-T-I-N-E. Destiny.
Oh, give yourself a circle and a tick. Wow. What's the next one?
Labioris. Labioris.
Keep going.
A tick?
Oh, give you a tick for sounding. And actually the word is oh. Have one more try.
Labioris.
Labourers.
Labourers.
That's right, you sounded it so brilliantly, but on there because you did lab, it's labourers. Have you heard of labourers?
No.
No, it's actually workers, and that's why you didn't hear the word. Right, this one. Oh, I feel like that sometimes. What's the word?
Exhausted. Exhausted.
Yes! Give yourself a circle and a tick. Wow. Brilliant. What's next? Sorry.
Trudging.
Yes, give yourself a tick. Trudging. I'm trudging through the snow. Now within SSP we start off teaching phonemic awareness, speech sound Harry. So we're using duck hands, d-uck. We're getting children to realise that when we say a word, d-uck, that actually, that if I took a picture of d and and k, what might it look like? So what goes on there, what goes on there, what goes on there? And we also number them so that I can say which is the third sound, which is the number 2 sound, whatever. So d, k, and k is one that we meet in the purple level. K. So we've got a k there, and there's the k in duck. So it doesn't matter how many letters there are, what matters is what they represent. So we're building up with visual prompts so that we might go tap, t, app, tap. And on the green level visual prompts, we are just using things that are made up of at, put, it, and snap, ant, tap. Tapping is foot or patting is foot. Pin, pant, etc. So these are called the visual prompts. Visual prompts for spelling. So this is purely and simply phonemic awareness. We're not bothered about the letters. We're just bothered about how do we say it, using duck hands, lines, numbers, and make the choices. But we're doing this for spelling so that it's really easy to spell any words. It doesn't matter what the word is. Cheese, ch-ease. Okay, so which goes on the ch, which goes on the e, which goes on the z. So we're building up spelling as a code, as a you being speech sound detectives. But when we come to reading, what we want to do, the reason of learning these systematically and in this order, is so that we can actually use them in reading activities. So if I'm only looking at these, I want to practice reading or decoding just using those. Now these that I've got in here, these are pocket rockets. So we've got the orange pack, actually takes us from through SSP green and also purple. And that means that in these little books, all we have in these books are words created using those sound pics. So I know that in here, we've got a but I know, there's the but I know this is only going to have at, put it, in there. So let's have a look. So it's a little book that means that they can actually turn the pages. There are about five of the same book in each pack, so that you can do guided reading with it, which means the children are actually reading and you can focus on the guiding. So that they're going it, and min. So you might say, look at the picture, because then the picture is not, look at the picture. What do you think min is? So we're starting to have that dialogue, that verbal, the conversations. That's a helpful word, I. Am, it, and min. So they can code all of these words, because none of these words are created using sound pics other than at, put, it, and in this one, So it's systematic, scaffolded, and it's in a certain order. Here again, you've only got I am Pam. You haven't got anything that the children won't be able to actually code. So I am Pam. What is Pam? Pam's a witch, whatever. So you're talking, asking questions, and so this is simulating a real book. I know it's not very exciting. We try to make them as exciting as possible by making it into a story and also helping the children go left to right and understand what a book actually is. It has a purpose, so it's not just random words that just don't mean anything, whatever. So it's a little story, but only using the sound pics we're learning. So what happens is, okay, so we've learnt sapping and but now let's practice workbooks. Let's practice using these sound pics and whatever, and it builds up and builds up. So you literally just go through them in order. So that would be number 2 when we're just doing I. So we've got p, I, t in there. Let's see if there's anything else other than p, I, and t. Pit pat, pit pat, pit pat, pit pat, pat pat pat, tip tip tip, sit tip. So we've got a s in there as well. So we've got s, it, and p and a. So there's the green level. Okay, so remember that's the green level. It's just got the ones, just got the ones that we're learning. And the reason for this is not to have this exciting story that's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, or whatever, because at this stage we're not ready for that, independently. At this stage we're focusing on coding, and this is really good, the same as the green level rap. What about this one?
Stand up. Oh. Shh, listen.
Amazing! And they're all green level words, you see, it's all rap. Oh, who can do it? Michael.
Listen.
Touch.
Oh, Alaska.
Yes, do it very fast. Children have to look at the individual sound pics in there so that they're not going pat, pat, pat. They're actually going pit, pat, pit, pat, and what have you. You can even talk about that's a full stop because at the end, let's breathe there. That's a capital letter there because it's the beginning, or it might be their name or whatever. So they're very simple books, but it means that the children are actually understanding the concept of reading only using the sound pics that they are learning in their level.
Pig.
Good morning, Mrs.
Good morning. I know how to read this.
Do you know how to read it? Show me. By yourself. Oh, amazing. That's the best way.
Miss Emma, do you know yesterday I read one of the purple books.
Did you? You're so clever. Oh, give me a high five. I'm so proud. These will take you all the way up to books that let you practice green level, purple level, and then when we get to this one, it's purple level and also yellow level. So let's just have a look at one of those just to see. Okay, so let's just pick one out at random. Order these from the shop. They're $33 for a box, so this is $33. And as I say, you've got between 5 and 7 copies of every one, so that you can have children all having the same one. And of course, they love duck poo. So we've got duck poo. So you can imagine that's a purple level sound pic that they've looked at. That's another purple level sound pic that they've looked at. That's another purple level sound pic that they've looked at. That's a green level sound pic. And ooh, which is the yellow level. Ooh. So when we're in here, because they're working on they might be working on the yellow level now. This is what they're practicing. Actually reading a little story with words that are only made up of the sound pics they are learning. Now, obviously, they're also looking at other books. They're looking at real books. We're reading to them. They've got potluck books, which means they can pick out anything they want and try and read it. But for this particular exercise, we want them using their phonics, their code knowledge, in a real reading activity, or there's no point. And we need to do this as soon as possible. So as soon as I've got the children, we've been checking their phonemic awareness and what have you, and I know they're ready to be doing the pictures of the sounds, that's when I will start them off on some of these books, because they're thinking, oh, that's why. So we've got the picture of s and it and it, sit, so we're practicing our blending, but without having to look at this and guess what it is and whatever. So all of these words, there's no shock, all of them are words that the children can decode. And even this, that's a helpful word. We code all our helpful words as well. So the children know w-oz, they know that's a picture for o, w-oz, in a bad mood. Children, because somebody was saying children in year 2 can't spell the words said.
Yeah, we can.
And I said, well, do you know, not only can they spell the word said, they will, wait, video to show this person on YouTube. Not only
Good
that,
girl, Mary. Thank you. Good girl.
Olivia. Draw the 3 lines.
Good job, Olivia.
And put your choices on the top.
Good job, Zach.
So just pick up you to find that word.
Good girl. Good girl, Shiori. Good Good. That's all yours, Zach. Good job.
I think I want some pasta. Oh, that's a good word, right? That.
Like this
When
one.
you're writing today. Faster.
I'm doing
Faster.
something else.
Do the lines for faster.
Oh.
Remember? Jip the dog had to run faster.
I just noticed something. So I spelled save.
Oh, beautiful lines, Amy.
Good job.
So you put the
Well
lines
done.
under Max, you're right.
What's your name?
So when I'm recommending coded readers, I'm trying to create all SSP coded readers that are free, but the coded readers that we recommend from other providers like Fitzroy and whatever, we basically tell you how they fit in with SSP. So there's our green level, they're the sound pics we're learning. These are just pictures of speech sounds. That's one of the pictures for etc. They're the ones we learn in purple. They're the ones we learn in yellow code level. These are the ones we learn in the blue code level. Now, until the children get up to, and I don't just mean that they can just recognise that and go, oh, and whatever. Before they can move up a level, they have to be able to use these to read and spell. So if I said to them, give me the word sip, they can go sip in the right order, and they can also write it if they don't have it there. Sip, sip. They might do the lines and numbers or just write it, but they'll make the right choices before they move past purple. The same thing, they can use these. Now what we're actually doing is we're not just teaching code recognition, letter sounds, whatever you want to call it. When they come up to this level, we're teaching them new skills and concepts. We're teaching them that some sounds can be represented by more than one sound pic. So we've got ooh, hill, ooh, little, ooh, lemon. That some sounds can be represented by two letters that are the same, but it's still one sound. We don't go g or r, s, we go grass. So that's a picture of s, just the same as that was a picture of s. That's a picture of s as well as k. So like 10 cents. So we're learning that some sounds can be represented by more than one picture, and some pictures can represent more than one sound. So this represents k and s. There's a k and whatever. So what we're doing all the time is not just teaching the code. So when people say they know their letter sounds, actually they won't know the letter sounds, because there are about 46, 47 speech sounds that we focus on, but there are at least 150 ways to represent them. So until they know those, they don't know their letter sounds. So we move up, and then when we move up to here, this is when we're learning more skills and concepts, that sometimes sound pics can be made of more than one letter. Think of height, I, t, that's the I. Think of eight, that's the A. So it's a picture of two different sounds there. And like this one, think that could be ooh, ook, or moon. It could also be a picture of think of blood. So the children get to know that they could represent different things and in what context. So there's no point just showing them this if you're not using context, if you're not putting it into a real book situation so that they can actually use this knowledge. There's no point just teaching that this could be an E, happy, or this could be an I, like fly, or it could be a Y, like yellow. In fact, most phonics programs actually only teach that before you move on to the others. So it's not actually, we're not just bothered by that. We want them to be able to use it in a situation. So if they can actually see the word happy, let's have a look at the E cloud. So these are the spelling clouds. So let's have a look at the sound E, which Vaughan told me the other day is in yellow. Vaughan is 5. He is autistic and he is amazing, and he will find if you give him a sound, he'll find it. So there could be a picture of Y. So there are the pictures for Y, yes, and yun. Here are the pictures for, here it is, it's a picture for E. I'm not happy. And there are other choices for E. This one, I. Here are other choices for I. And the children explore these all the time. So there's no point just looking at that and knowing what it is. We need to know where it is in a word.
I brought you out because it's so noisy. Just come and sit over here for a minute and show me your clouds. Let's have a look.
So I'm going to give you a sound and you see if you can find the cloud. Are you ready? Yes! What about yes! What about Do you know what colour it is?
Purple.
Yes! There it is! What about W?
What is in yellow?
What about, can you find it? Where is it? Whoa, 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 whoa. There it is! What about, oh, I'm going to trick you.
It's in
It is in purple! How did you know it's in purple? Oh, look at this! It is! Wow, like not. Can we go and show Mrs. Brown?
yeah.
I think you're amazing. Come show Mrs. Brown. I think that's just stupendous. Show you something. Could you find me? Give me a sound.
Sleep.
What level is it?
On the yellow.
It is in yellow.
Right at the end.
Again.
And it's in blue as well. That's a difficult one, Mrs. Brown.
I know.
Amazing.
Come put your peg up, Miss Muffet.
Wow.
Now.
I just found it in.
It is E. Good boy.
Any of the sounds, it'll find a cloud. I gave him the easy one to see. You gave him a hard one. She's a meanie. She gave you the hard one, but you did it. We're up for a challenge.
Now. How many sounds is
If we had hopping, do me duck hands for hopping.
Hop it in. Hop
Put
it.
up, put it. Now the put in hopping. Show me where it is and what it looks like. Oh, you pointed to the right one. I think you're amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Give me a high five. Give me a hug.
Hug.
And I'll see you later.
See you later.
Gorgeous. And we need to be able to recognise very quickly which looks right. So if I put that if I change it to that one, would it look right? No, it wouldn't. And because we teach children to read very quickly, within less than 3 terms, regardless of when you start, whether they're an older child who's starting again or whether they're prep, it means that they very quickly get to see which looks right and which doesn't. And all their resources are obviously helping them all the time because it's developing independence. They don't need to keep asking the teacher. It's also immediate feedback. If they have written, spelt something incorrectly, it's like supposing they did pie and they put a Y, then the teacher would underline and say, have a look at that sound pic, the one for I. The put is right, but the I needs to be a different one. So they'll look at those and try them to see which looks right or not. So we're never saying that word is incorrect, we're saying which part of the word, and also we're not waiting to mark it that night and then give it to them the next day. We're giving them immediate feedback. Okay, so when we move up to here, and here's a concept that 2 sound pics together, so we've looked at the k or the s, and we've looked at the where's the her gone? Just there. But when they're together, it's no longer k or s, and that's sh. So it's a different sound pic. So again, new concept. And we move up to blue, and that's when we've got blue level sound pics as well, which are split vowel digraphs. But so as we're moving up, the children are learning, they're scaffolding their skills and concepts. So it's just very, very easy for children to learn to read very, very quickly. But what we're doing as we're going along is also giving them books to read that gives them a chance to practice those sound pics. So if I look at the back of this book, it will tell me, right, if I'm reading this book, then it means that you need to know these sound pics because these are the ones that are in the book. There aren't going to be anything else. There might be some helpful words, but there's not going to be anything else. There's not going to be a, dolphin because we haven't done PH as a picture for foot yet. So it's the children understand how to do it. They understand what they've got to do. And if you look at their eyes might just glance at that, but their eyes look here. Because this is the story. This is the important bit. This is just icing. If you don't teach the code, then these coded readers aren't going to be very helpful because you don't, unless you know that every single sound pic in here are ones that you've already taught. That's why it's much easier to start with SSP right from the beginning because we teach the code, teach them to read with all these, and it all just fits together. what I want you to do with guided reading or anything like that is that you ask the child, I would actually cover the pictures. And you would say, can you just tell me what that is? Well, they can't read that in quite a good, you know, flip and flop slip. If they're going flip, and then it means actually they need a lot more practice at this level because their coding isn't quick enough. The idea is not that we spend lots of time going f or ip, which is what children will do if you mess about with the code and you don't teach it systematically, because they're constantly having to look and think, what was it, what was it? Whereas because we're scaffolding, they know because that's their level and they're using it every day and practicing, and so they can use it in this kind of situation really quickly and fluently. So we want them to go flip and flop slip. And that means, great, they can decode this is at their level, and we can focus on the story. We can focus on, even at this level, when they're only using those sound pics, even at that this level, we're still checking their comprehension. So when you get to the end of it, you want to ask all sorts of questions. And what we're doing with SSP readers is we're actually putting the questions for you, just in case for some reason you can't think of questions or you've got a parent helping or whatever. So you're wanting to check, what do you think? You want to make it meaningful to them. You know, do you like birds? What birds do you see in your garden? Whatever. You also want to ask them what they think. How do you think he felt if he fell off the tree? Whatever. But you also need to make sure that you're teaching them how to go back and check their understanding. Like, who fell out of the tree? Why did they fall out of the tree? So they might remember, but also then you say, okay, now find it. Whereabouts does it tell you that in the book? Flip and flop slip off the twig. Flop dropped, lost his grip, and flip slid off. So here is where the information is. It's because flop lost his grip and flip slid off. Oh my goodness. So we're getting all sorts from this for the comprehension. This is what guided reading is all about. It's checking that they have not only coded, but they've actually read this and understood it. And you're also really developing a higher order thinking. And we're doing this even with books that have only got this part of the code in it. It's really systematic, scaffolded. It's just amazing. It's so, you know, people say to me, how do you teach children to read so quickly? Well, this is why. Because we're making it so easy for them. We're keeping inside what they know, and we're always just pushing them outside their comfort zone, but they can always do it. They don't have to guess. Now, in Australia, they use a lot of something called PM readers, which are not suitable until the children get to around here, the end of the yellow level moving towards the blue, because none of the PM levels have got books that are coded, which means the code is all over the place. They might have words with, they might have dolphin or shark or whatever, even though that is a blue level sound pick in shark, shark, or the PH, or, you know, in dolphin or whatever. So we need to make sure that they're coding, and then you can put your PM levels in. So you can put your readers into the blue level bucket. I don't think I found any PM readers that would fit into here if we're following the code. It also means that don't use PM readers for comprehension, don't benchmark until the children get to here, or you're not actually checking their reading comprehension, because most of the children can't actually decode that, and if they do, all they're doing is guessing and whatever. Anytime you check a child's comprehension, it must be of text that has no pictures. So it must be text that is just writing. The children have to read it, and then you ask the questions and whatever. But simple, very, very simple. Teach them the code up to there. Use SSP. You've got all the resources, got everything there for you. The readers, the resources, absolutely everything. Get them to there. You can get them to there in 2 terms of prep, and then you can start on your PMs and your benchmarking and your comprehension and your proper guided reading, which is checking their comprehension and whatever. Even if you'd use it, if you've got children who have not learnt to read in 10 years, start this, you'll get them reading in 3 terms. It's so scaffolded, it's for every single brain, it works, and it's also fun. Now, a lot of SSP came out of me working with delinquent teenagers, so teenage boys, illiterate, absolutely no interest in reading. And to be honest, if you give them these, they're going to think they're babyish and that you're patronising them a little bit, and they'll just feel embarrassed. So this is why I use these definitely. Well, to be honest, I use them with the children I work with, because they know that I'll say these are a means to an end. You know, we're doing this so that you can get your coding level up to the stage of being able to read what you need to be able to read to get on with the curriculum, or if you want to actually choose to read at home. So what I'm doing is, all the SSP readers are actually more silly than babyish. So it means that you've got another tool for help older students to bridge that gap between when they're starting here and at the end of this, which is chapter books and anything they want.
You kangaroo, wear your underwear.
Where's your underwear? Point to it so I can see where you...
Juggling up and down. When having fun, it's hard and frown. Dribble, not hard at all. Look, I'm playing basketball.
Point.
If you throw a
Boomerang.
then you will quickly learn that every time you let it go, it will magically return. Not one, but two. Big kangaroos are jumping up and down. Best jump high. Can you see why? They're heading for the pound.
They're gonna bang. Straight face.
The kangaroo called Mrs. Pooh.
Mrs. Roo.
Oh, Roo.
Yeah, the kangaroo called Mrs. Roo.
And a poo.
Start again, come on, straight face.
The kangaroo called Mrs. Roo had a poo when she at the zoo. Don't feel blue. I did want to, said Mrs. Cow, and then yelled moo.
Come on, you've got to read it. You've got to read it without...
David.
Come on, you've got to read it without smiling. The kangaroo.
Read it out loud, Prince, read it loud. I did it.
I don't want everybody to hear.
I
whisper
read
it. The kangaroo.
The kangaroo called Mrs. Wu had a poo and at the zoo. Don't feel blue. I did one, two, said Missy Cow, and then yelled moo.
We haven't got someone to do it with a straight face yet. Who can do it with a straight face?
Maddie can.
Maddie. Okay, you ready? With a straight face.
This one? The kangaroo called Mr. Brew had a poo.
You've got to do it with a straight face. You're not
Straight face.
Come on, you can do it. Come on.
Mr. Kangaroo called Brew had a poo when at the zoo. Doesn't feel blue. I did one, two, said Missy Cow, and then yelled moo.
My silly poems that I do. And I said this one they've got to do with a straight face.
A kangaroo called Mrs. Wu had a poo when at the zoo. Don't feel blue. I did one too, said Missy Cow, and then he yelled moo.
Let's have a look. A kangaroo called Mrs. Roo had a
poo
when at the zoo. Don't feel blue. I did one, two, said Mrs. Cow,
and then yelled moo.
The gentle giant giggled. Now puppies having a wee.
This is book 1 from the blue level, from the SSP book tier. By now you've gone over all of these speech sound pics and just really practicing the blue level. Make sure you know them all. Kangaroo. A book about you. Where's a picture of the speech sound ooh? Kangaroo. It's at the end of kangaroo. Hey you, kangaroo, kicking over there. Hey you, kangaroo, where's your underwear? If you throw a boomerang, then you will quickly learn that every time you let it go, it'll magically return. Not one, but 2 big kangaroos are jumping up and down. Best jump high. Can you see why? They're heading for the clown. Do you think they're going to jump on him, knock him over? Juggling, juggling, up and down. When having fun, it's hard to frown. Dribble, dribble, not hard at all. Look, I'm playing basketball. The kangaroo called Mrs. Roo had a poo when at the zoo. Don't feel blue, I did one too, said Missy Cow, and then yelled, moo! Choose another blue level reader from the SSP book tier. And I shall see you soon. See you later, alligator. In a while.